Hello, everyone, and welcome back. It's been a while. I've had more drama mama on my plate than expected. Somehow, I started the new year with a plan, and the plan didn't go according to the plan. And that was a hard pill to swallow. The hard pill to swallow comes in different sizes and doses. I always tell my friends that in my experience, when it rains, it always pours. Yani, it's never one uncomfortable event. It's always at least a few after each other. And sometimes it's a bit much for the soul to take. Have you ever had a relationship start out so well and somehow very quickly crumble because you realize that there's a lot of differences? And with that realization comes a lot of fights, and the next thing you know, you are considering separating from that special individual. Well, I have, and multiple times. And reflecting back, I must say there was at least a couple of main ingredients missing in those decisions. The first one is decisions were made when anxiety was high and emotions weren't processed. The second, communication was low. Yani, we didn't talk to be understood. We talked for the sake of talking, mainly in self-defense. This means it was a battle of who was right. It's okay to justify things, but it's not okay to try and force the other person to agree with your reasons. The third thing, we never looked at what mattered the most to us. Yani, we forgot our values, what we thought made us compatible, and mostly we forgot to give space for conversations where we could be ourselves without judgment and with acceptance. And of course, this reflection was inspired from a number of events, including a couple I work with that really want to make their marriage work but struggle because they also forgot the main ingredients of a good relationship. Let me ask you something else. When was the last time you accepted rejection for what it is? Yani, when was the last time you met someone that you really wanted to get close to and get to know, and they didn't seem interested? And instead of walking away, you held on to signs and interpretations from friends and family on what their actions and words could mean. And that somehow attached you more to the story and the potential of the individual rather than the person themselves. And then breaking free from that attachment becomes the actual heartbreak because in reality, the relationship itself was really one-sided. And we start to grieve. Here's the thing. Even though there was no relationship, the grief is so real and so are our feelings. What isn't real is the reality of that person because we never got to know how they are and what it's really like to be with them in that relationship dynamic we wanted. Accepting and understanding that our reality was always different from the story we invested in can be helpful to detach. The reality is on one hand, and the story is on the other. Is it hard, though, to accept that someone you love and wanted didn't choose you or chose someone else? Absolutely. It's a very hard pill to swallow, especially if you feel misled. But often we let ourselves be misled because we know deep down that if we had to lay it out on the table, we would walk away empty-handed. So instead, we delay the pain and try to change the reality and end up being more attached to the story. Let's talk transparency for a minute. What does transparency look like? I don't like hiding information, especially when someone wants to know something. I'm talking, of course, about an intimate relationship. The reason why I like clarity and being thorough is because a lot of the times, information is power. And we abuse that power when we hide information to manipulate someone to either make them feel insecure or bad, or use that information to hold on to them when we know that deep down they don't want to stay. There's a limit to how long the truth can be hidden, but eventually it all comes out. And the difference between being straightforward about it and hiding it intentionally is that you end up tangling yourself in bad energy, bad karma, and your stories will not add up over time. There is more power in the truth than people realize. Last but not least, I want to touch on accountability. I follow an Emirati interviewer called Anas Bukhash. He put accountability into a simple formula. Everything has a tax, يعني كل شيء له ضريبة. Every decision, every action in life is taxable. Nothing is tax-free. يعني if you want a good body, you have to eat well and improve your fitness levels. If you want to make more money, you have to work smart and maybe have different streams of revenue. If you want to be good at something, you have to spend more time practicing and learning about it. If you want a good relationship, you have to choose the right person and you have to invest in it properly. If you want equality, you have to give equally. It's a hard pill to swallow when we realize that what we want, who we want, and where we want to be is not for us, because wanting what and who can't be for you is self-destruction over time. Thank you for hanging out, and see you next time.